I saw like a video going around called an honest talk about Goth, and I watched like three of them, and I think the original poster is, hope I'm saying this right, Legia Resurrected. And I tried going to her channel, but I could not find the original post, so I can't comment on that one. But based on the videos that I have seen about this honest Goth talk about how the scene is changing, and is Goth being too superficial? Is it a popularity contest or whatever? And I can kind of, I don't really know how to respond to this because I'm in my early 20s and I wasn't around in the 80s, and I didn't experience goth subculture in the 90s, um, because I was a kid and I didn't know anything about goth. In the early 2000s, I didn't really know anything about goth, and even though I'm very comfortable in the subculture, I still feel very new to it, and I still feel like I have lots to learn about it, and so I don't have anything to compare the way the goth subculture is now to anything else. I have noticed it being a little bit superficial, being when targeted to younger generations. It's no longer about DIY and buying from handmade shops and supporting handmade brands and buying things from sites like Etsy or um, getting things that are good quality but a good deal on from things like eBay or thrift stores or vintage shops or like going to like yard sales and garage sales and just finding things that are gothy, and just being all about exploring things and having imagination for them, seeing things that are not typically goth but having an imagination for it to make it goth, and being able to paint it or dye it or alter it in some type of way to make it the way you want it to be to express yourself. I definitely feel that I approach the subculture a little bit differently than I did when I was in high school, college-ish. I don't really make an effort to learn new music anymore. I kind of got to the point where I'm like, well, I found the music that I like, and I know what I like based on, ruling out things that I don't like. And I really just enjoy a lot of the classics, a lot of the things that I listened to in high school, and a lot of things that I discovered like in my early college years. But recently, I find that I haven't really put in the effort into learning new music. I used to make it like a weekly or daily thing to use the bands and music that I like to find other bands and music that I like through the internet, through different websites like Yahoo Music or Google Music or YouTube, or um, asking around in the forums and stuff, or checking out music that other YouTubers or bloggers will recommend. I personally don't do that anymore. That's something that I kind of miss doing, just to help keep the scene alive. I haven't really gone to a lot of concerts, mainly because I have social anxiety, and the last few concerts I went to were very claustrophobic, and I just wasn't comfortable. But I still want to go out and support bands, so maybe my experiences will be different at future events. And I do want to support the local music scene because I do want to keep it alive for now to enjoy and for future generations. So that is, something on my part that I have noticed within myself. And I can't speak for other people, and I can't judge them for their decisions and such. As far as like YouTube fame and stuff goes, I mean, it is what it is. People approach YouTube differently depending on who they are and what their goals are. Some people make money on YouTube, some people don't. I recently just optimized my YouTube. At first I didn't want to because I didn't like the idea of having ads, but then I started seeing how much money people were making from YouTube and how their fame stuff grew, and I'm just like, well, I'm at home most of the time because I only work part-time, and if I can make money doing what I love and I can just use this as another artistic outlet then why not? But I haven't gotten paid from YouTube because you have to make a certain amount in order for them to send you a check or direct deposit you or whatever, and I haven't reached that threshold because my channel isn't really that huge and I don't post videos that often. So yeah, I've noticed brands like Killstar and some other brands have like really become the Goth go-to brands, and I don't really see them as Goth brands. I see them as people who are taking advantage of a trend and selling people things within that trend. And people sometimes some people feel like they have to buy all their clothes from stores like that in order to be a legit goth, and that's not true. Um, you don't have to buy from overpriced retail stores either online or in person in order to express yourself truthfully. You don't have to you don't have to buy a whole bunch of expensive stuff in order to be a part of the subculture or to be legit or for people to accept you. And people who act like that is a requirement, they're elitists and, you know, they're not really happy people. You shouldn't listen to them. So, yeah. Um, I have noticed that, like, a lot of, I don't know, I guess, like, some of the younger crowd is, like, I don't think that they're actually taking time to learn about what the subculture is and where it came from and different aspects of it in terms of the literature, music, not just the music of today, but the music that started the movement overall, the original punk movement, the hippie movement, and all these different things that tie into the history of the counterculture, subculture type thing. I don't think that they're taking time to learn about different musicians and their life stories. I haven't done that too much, but I did read like the autobiography of Marilyn Manson, and I found it very fascinating. And I read a few books about punk and about goth and the subculture and getting different anecdotes from different people. I don't own any of those books today, but like I was able to find them like in a library and stuff. And I found them very fascinating. And some of those books are actually free online, like Google Books sometimes gives you a preview of the books and it'll show you a few pages, but then sometimes they'll just show you the whole book if it's not really a popular thing. And I was able to read Marilyn Manson's book that way, but they did block out some of the pages, so I found it in the library. The school library blocked out a whole lot of pages, but like the public library didn't, so I enjoyed that version better. And you may be able to find it on Amazon or on his website or whatever. I don't know. But I encourage you to read autobiographies of different rock stars or different bands or whatever you like so that you can understand them better and understand the psychology of the people who create the music you like. And I wish that more people created autobiographies to tell their story so that it can make the scene a little bit richer in terms of like gothic designers, jewelry designers, crafters, people who are artists in all sorts of mediums and styles, kind of have their own autobiography things so that people can learn more about the psychology of the people that create the stuff that we like so much and feel more connected to it. I don't think a lot of people are doing that. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I like wearing black. My favorite rock band is Avenged Sevenfold, and sometimes I listen to My Chemical Romance because I'm so hardcore. And they don't really know like the original rock bands like The Cure or Six Seasons of Banshees or Bauhaus or anything. They kind of look at you like, huh? What? What's that? What language are you speaking? I never heard of it. Or they'll sometimes wear shirts like that and they never even heard of the band. And it's like, well, why are you wearing this band shirt if you've never even heard of them? Like, why are you advertising this? It could be something negative. oh, well, it's cool, and that's my Converse, so whatever. And I feel like that's a lot, there's a lot of that sort of thing going on. And I can understand why you could come across as an elitist and you say, that's not cool. And I was like, I'm not trying to be an elitist, I'm just saying, that's not, that doesn't mean what you think it means. So, yeah. I also noticed that there are a lot of people who, even though we have so many videos about what goth is, what goth isn't, elitism, and there's so many different bloggers who have touched on this, there's still so much ignorance about it. There's still so many negative gothic stereotypes being featured in the media. I also noticed that it's very Eurocentric. I like Victorian fashion and Lolita and all that other stuff, but there are other cultures that are a part of the Gothic subculture that should be represented too within it, and I feel like that should be more broadly represented. My end, a lot of alternative magazines, they don't really try and make things very, they don't try to make things very accessible and very, I don't know what the word is right now, but they don't try and diversify or anything. They try and stick with those stereotypes in order to keep their sales up instead of representing the people who actually read them. And that's why I don't really apply to them anymore or anything or read them that often. Because a lot of the owners of those magazines are not really good people and I don't want to support them. So, yeah. The gossip culture has a lot of problems, but I still love it and I still, I'm going to express myself the way I want to, and that is as someone who is a part of subculture would. And I feel like even if the goth subculture wasn't really a subculture, I would still like the music that I like. I would still have some of the fashion sense that I have, and I would still be sort of the same person. It just wouldn't have a name to it. So I don't know. A lot of people are giving people like flack about the whole pastel and new goth movement, saying that's not really goth, and I don't really care. So, yeah, I mean, I never heard of any new goth music or any pastel goth music or goth bands. Please enlighten me in the comments below if you know of any. But it's sort of, a style. It doesn't really have any basis, Like I never heard of pastel goth literature or goth bands or anything besides the style. I'm not offended by it. I don't like pastels, so some people do, and if they want to dress as a pastel goth or kind of veer between dark and white or somewhere in between, I don't really care what other people do, so yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of elitism in the scene, and there's a lot of things changing and developing. Some things I like, some things I don't like, some things I'm just completely out of the loop. Because it's not something that I'm interested in or something that I do or whatever. Just express yourself the way you want to, whether it's goth or not, and whether or not it's what other people call goth or what, because who cares? And that's what the alternative subculture is about, expressing yourself the way you want to express yourself as without having to worry about people judging you, because they're gonna do that anyway, just don't worry about it. So yeah, this is my take on honest talk about goth, and if you have any responses, you can make a video response. Even though YouTube kind of took away that feature, you can still do that and just tag me or whatever on social media or something, whatever you want to do. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, share if you want, and I will post as many videos as I can, as often as I can, and just, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm glad you guys enjoy my work.